Sainsbury is a supermarket you visit every week where the very best and very worst food in Britain sit side by side on the same shelves. Same store, same aisles, sometimes just a few feet apart. A bread made with 4 honest ingredients placed next to a bread built from 15 chemicals. Milk from properly fed cows sitting beside milk so heavily processed it barely qualifies as dairy. The gap in quality is not small. It is shocking. 3 weeks. That is how long was spent going through Sainsbury's products methodically, testing quality, reading every label, comparing prices, turning over jars and packets that millions of people pick up every single day without a second thought. What that investigation uncovered will change the way you walk around that store forever. Today we are revealing the 10 best products you should always buy at Sainsbury's, the 3 worst products that have no business being in your kitchen, and exactly how to tell the difference while you are standing in the aisle. By the time this is finished, you will know precisely what belongs in your basket and what to walk straight past. Let us start with the best. Number 10. Sainsbury's So Organic Porridge Oats. 1 ingredient. Organic rolled oats. That is the entire list. Nothing added, nothing removed, just whole grain oats presented exactly as nature produced them. This matters more than most people realize. Conventional oats are frequently sprayed with glyphosate before harvest to dry the crop quickly and efficiently. Testing has repeatedly found glyphosate residues in standard supermarket oats. Organic certification eliminates that exposure entirely. The oats are simply steamed and rolled, preserving their full nutritional value without any industrial interference. The fiber content sits at around 9 grams per 100 grams. Oats provide beta-glucan fiber, which lowers cholesterol and helps stabilize blood sugar in a way that heavily processed cereals cannot come close to matching. The protein content is approximately 11 grams per 100 grams, which is unusually high for a grain. And unlike sugary breakfast cereals that spike blood sugar rapidly, oats release energy gradually, keeping you satisfied and steady throughout the morning. A nutritionist put it plainly: conventional oats are heavily sprayed, and most contain detectable residues. Organic certification is not a luxury for oats. It is the point. Priced at around £1.70 for a kilogram, these are more expensive than standard oats. But you are getting a single whole ingredient, organically grown, with nothing hidden on the label because there is nothing to hide. When tested against a well-known branded instant oat product containing added golden syrup, the contrast was stark. The organic oats were wholesome and genuinely satisfying. The branded alternative was sweetened powder dressed up as a healthy breakfast. Number 9. Sainsbury's Taste the Difference 85% Dark Chocolate. 4 ingredients: cocoa mass, sugar, cocoa butter, and vanilla. No emulsifiers, no vegetable fats, no additives of any kind. This is how chocolate was always made before manufacturers discovered how much cheaper it is to bulk it out with palm oil and sugar. The cocoa content is 85%. That means only 15% of this bar is sugar and other ingredients. Compare that to a standard milk chocolate bar, which can contain over 50 grams of sugar per 100 grams, and the difference is extraordinary. A chocolate specialist was direct about it. Sainsbury's 85% dark chocolate is legitimately good. The cocoa quality is decent, the processing is minimal, and the sugar content is genuinely low. It is impressive for a supermarket product. The cocoa butter is real cocoa butter, which gives the chocolate its proper firm texture and clean snap when you break it. That snap is a reliable sign. Real dark chocolate made with genuine cocoa butter behaves quite differently from the soft, waxy feel of products bulked out with palm oil or vegetable fats. The health benefits are real as well. High cocoa content provides antioxidants, minerals, and beneficial compounds that a standard chocolate bar simply does not contain. The complex, slightly bitter flavor with fruity undertones is what proper dark chocolate tastes like. Rich, intense, and deeply satisfying in a way that cloyingly sweet milk chocolate never manages to be. At around £2 for 100 grams, it costs more than a Cadbury bar. bar. But you are buying real chocolate, and you will find that a small amount goes considerably further. Number 8. Sainsbury's Taste the Difference Extra Virgin Olive Oil. Cold pressed, single origin, either Spain or Italy depending on the batch, properly bottled in dark glass to protect the oil from light damage. This is genuine extra virgin olive oil, not the refined, blended or aged product that fills many supermarket shelves under misleading labels. Cold pressing means the olives were crushed mechanically without heat or chemical solvents. This preserves the polyphenols, the beneficial compounds responsible for both the health properties and the distinctive peppery finish of real extra virgin olive oil. An olive oil specialist confirmed it. The flavor shows this is fresh, cold-pressed oil. Many supermarket olive oils are either refined or old. This is proper quality. The color is deep gold with a greenish tint. This indicates chlorophyll and polyphenols still present in the oil. Pale yellow oil suggests age or refinement, both of which reduce nutritional value and flavor. On the bottle when you buy it. Olive oil on the bottle when you buy it. Olive oil is best consumed within 18 months of harvest, and fresh oil is meaningfully better than old oil regardless of how it has been stored. At around £5 for 500 milliliters, it sits in the mid-range for extra virgin olive oil. More than the basic supermarket offering, but entirely reasonable for what it genuinely is. When tested directly against Sainsbury's standard olive oil, the difference was not subtle. The taste, the difference version had complexity, depth, and that peppery finish. The basic version tasted of almost nothing at all. Number 7. Sainsbury's Wild Alaskan Red Salmon. One of the most important words on any fish product is wild, not farmed, wild. And this salmon is exactly that. Caught in Alaskan waters, certified wild catch with a nutritional profile that farmed salmon simply cannot replicate. Wild salmon eat natural diets of smaller fish and krill. This accumulates beneficial fats in the flesh in a way that farmed fish fed on manufactured pellets cannot achieve. The omega-3 content is meaningfully higher. The contaminant levels are meaningfully lower. Wild fish living in open waters do not accumulate the pollutants that concentrate in crowded farm conditions. A marine biologist was unambiguous. Wild Alaskan salmon is among the cleanest fish available anywhere. The waters are relatively unpolluted. The fisheries are among the best managed in the world, and the fish live entirely natural lives. The color of wild salmon is natural. It comes from krill and other crustaceans in the diet. Farmed salmon is frequently given synthetic compounds to produce the pink color that consumers expect. With wild salmon, that color is simply what it is. The texture is noticeably firmer. The flavor is richer and more complex. When tested against Sainsbury's farmed salmon, the difference was immediately apparent. The wild salmon had substance and depth. The farmed version was soft, fatty, and comparatively bland. At around £4.50 for 230 grams, it is more expensive than farmed alternatives, but you are buying something fundamentally different. Genuine wild fish from well-managed waters with the nutritional content and flavor to prove it. Number 6. Sainsbury's So Organic Butter. 2 ingredients, organic cream and salt. 1 ingredient if you choose the unsalted version. This is how butter has always been made and how it should still be made. Nothing else belongs in it. The organic certification guarantees the cream comes from farms with genuine welfare standards, no synthetic pesticides, no routine antibiotic use, and proper outdoor access for the cows. A nutritionist specializing in dietary fats was clear about it. Real butter from organic grass-fed cows is considerably healthier than most people have been led to believe. It contains fat-soluble vitamins, conjugated linoleic acid, and beneficial short-chain fatty acids. Industrial margarine is worse for health despite decades of marketing claims to the contrary. The naturally yellow color comes from beta-carotene in grass. Pale, almost white butter signals grain-fed cows. The depth of color is a direct indicator of the quality of the diet these animals were raised on. The taste is rich and genuinely complex. Real butter has depth. Industrial margarine tastes flat flat and chemical by comparison, because that is essentially what it is. At around £2.50 for 250 grams, it costs more than conventional butter. But you are getting two clean organic ingredients. When tested directly against a well-known margarine brand, the butter was superior in every possible respect: taste, texture, ingredients, and nutritional integrity. Number 5. Sainsbury's Taste the Difference. Grass-fed British beef mince. Grass-fed. Those two words represent a meaningful difference in what you are buying and what it does for your body. Most supermarket beef, even beef that's spent time on pasture, is grain-finished in the final weeks before slaughter. This changes the fat profile of the meat significantly. Sainsbury's Taste the Difference mince states grass-fed, which means the cattle were raised and finished primarily on pasture, eating what cattle are naturally suited to eat. A regenerative farmer explained it directly. Grass-fed beef is nutritionally superior. Higher omega-3 content, more conjugated linoleic acid, more vitamins. The flavor is also better, less fatty, more mineral richness that you can taste in the cooking. The deeper red color is the result of higher myoglobin levels in animals that have lived active lives outdoors. Grain-fed beef are noticeably paler because those animals move considerably less. The fat in grass-fed beef is visibly more yellow from the beta-carotene in grass, and it is more stable for cooking than the fat from grain-fed animals. The environmental picture is better as well. Grass-fed systems require no grain production, less transport infrastructure, and actually improve soil health through natural grazing patterns. At around £6 per kilogram, it costs more than standard mince. When cooked side by side against standard Sainsbury's beef mince, the grass-fed version rendered less fat, produced richer flavor, and held its texture better throughout cooking. Number 4. Sainsbury's So Organic Free-Range Eggs. Organic, free-range, and from farms where meaningful outdoor access is a genuine requirement rather than a technicality on a label. The distinction between organic free-range and standard free-range is significant and worth understanding. Organic certification limits flocks to 2,000 hens per house. Standard free-range allows up to 16,000 hens in a single shed. The difference in what daily life actually looks like for those birds is considerable. Organic hens forage naturally, eating grass, insects, and a varied range of plants. An egg quality specialist noted that organic eggs are nutritionally superior as a direct result. The varied diet creates eggs with better omega-3 content, higher vitamin levels, and the deep orange yolk color that signals genuine outdoor foraging. A pale yellow yolk tells you the hen ate a grain-only diet and spent little meaningful time outdoors. A deep, rich orange yolk tells you something quite different. These eggs look and taste markedly better than standard alternatives. The difference is visible before you even crack them open. Number 3. Sainsbury's Organic Whole Milk. Proper milk from organic farms, minimally processed, still tasting like milk. That last point is worth dwelling on. Heavily processed, ultra-pasteurized, and thoroughly homogenized milk loses the flavor that milk is supposed to have. Sainsbury's Organic Whole Milk is pasteurized for safety, but not subjected to the aggressive additional processing that strips conventional milk of its character. The organic certification ensures these cows graze on pasture, eat grass rather than concentrated feed, and are raised without routine antibiotic use. A dairy farmer explained the results simply. The milk has better omega-3 to omega-6 ratios, more vitamins, and actually tastes like milk. The difference between organic and conventional is not subtle once you have tasted both. The 4% fat content matters. Whole milk retains the fat-soluble vitamins, including A, D, E, and K, that skimmed and semi-skimmed milk remove along with the fat. Those nutrients are not incidental. They are part of what milk is. If left to stand, the cream separates naturally to the top. This happens with minimally processed milk. It does not happen with heavily homogenized products. That natural separation is itself a sign of quality. At around £1.30 for 2 liters, it costs up to more than standard milk. When tested against conventional Sainsbury's milk, the organic version was richer, creamier, and tasted unmistakably unmistakably of actual dairy. Number 2. Sainsbury's Taste the Difference sourdough. 4 ingredients: wheat flour, water, salt, and rye flour. That is the complete list. No additives, no preservatives, no emulsifiers. A baker who assessed this product was straightforward about it. The fermentation is real. The ingredients are minimal. The texture shows proper long fermentation. It is genuinely surprising to find bread like this in a supermarket. The fermentation time is listed as 16 hours. Real sourdough requires extended fermentation to develop its flavor fully and to make the bread properly digestible. Most supermarket bread is produced in under 3 hours using aggressive mechanical mixing and chemical intervention. The texture confirms it. A dense, irregular crumb with chewy texture and a proper crust that does not compress to nothing when you press it. The flavor is tangy and complex in a way that rapid processing simply cannot produce. The shelf life of 3 to 4 days is not a flaw. It is proof. Bread that lasts 2 weeks on your counter is full of preservatives. Genuine bread goes stale because it contains no chemicals to prevent that happening. At around £2.50 for 400 grams, it costs just more than standard sliced bread. But you are not comparing equivalent products. This is real fermented bread. The other is an industrial product that happens to share the same name. And the best product you can buy at Sainsbury's. Number 1. Sainsbury's Taste the Difference raw honey. 1 ingredient: 100% honey. Raw, unpasteurized, never heated above 45 degrees, which means every enzyme, every antioxidant, every beneficial compound the bees produced is still present and intact. A beekeeper who examined this product was specific in his assessment. It is actually unpasteurized with visible pollen and natural crystallization. Most supermarket honey has been heavily filtered and heated, destroying everything that makes honey genuinely valuable. This is proper honey. Look at the texture, thick and crystallized. Raw honey crystallizes naturally. If honey in a jar remains perfectly smooth and liquid, it has been heated to prevent crystallization. That heating process is precisely what removes the beneficial compounds you are paying for. Look at the color variation between batches. Raw honey from different floral sources looks different. Uniform color across every jar suggests blending or heavy processing. Tiny visible particles suspended throughout the honey are pollen. Heavily filtered honey is completely clear. This should not be. The enzymes in raw honey are active: diastase invertase and others that provide genuine health benefits that pasteurization destroys entirely. The antioxidant content remains high. Pasteurization reduces antioxidants significantly. At around £5 for 340 grams, it is more expensive than standard supermarket honey. The origin states EU and non-EU, which is not ideal, but the raw processing is the more important factor here, and it is genuine. When tested against standard Sainsbury's clear honey, the raw version was dramatically different. Thick, complex, visibly textured with natural crystallization and genuine depth of flavor. The standard honey was thin, bland, and obviously processed. Now, the 3 worst products at Sainsbury's. Number 3, Sainsbury's tomato ketchup. 21 grams of sugar per 100 grams. More than a fifth of this product is pure sugar. A typical serving contains nearly a full teaspoon of sugar. Most people pouring this onto a meal have no idea they are adding that quantity of sweetness to food that should not require it. The tomatoes come from concentrate processed at high temperatures that destroy lycopene and other beneficial compounds that make fresh tomatoes worth eating. A nutritionist described it precisely. This is tomato-flavored sugar. The sugar content alone is catastrophic for a condiment that people use freely and generously without measuring. The modified cornstarch creates an artificial thickness that real ketchup would achieve through the natural consistency of good tomatoes. The natural flavorings listed are undefined, a vague term that routinely conceals synthetic compounds manufactured to boost a flavor the base ingredients cannot provide on their own. The salt content is 1.7 grams per 100 grams. Combined with the excessive sugar, this creates an addictive flavor profile that masks the weakness of the underlying ingredients and keeps you reaching for more. At around 90 pence for 460 grams, the price looks like good value. It is not. You are buying a sugar and salt sauce with tomato flavoring added. Number 2. Sainsbury's white sliced bread. 11 ingredients in a product that requires exactly 4. Wheat flour, water, yeast, salt. That is bread. Everything else on that label is industrial processing. Wheat flour, water, yeast, salt, vegetable oil, sugar, soya flour, emulsifiers, E472E and E471, flour treatment agent, preservative calcium propionate. A bread specialist was blunt. This is typical Chorleywood processed junk made in under 3 hours with aggressive mechanical mixing and chemical additives. It is nutritionally void and contains compounds that actively damage gut health. The calcium propionate preservative, which is what gives this bread a shelf life of 12 to 14 days, has been linked in studies to behavioral problems in children, including irritability, disturbed sleep, and attention difficulties in sensitive individuals. Real bread goes stale in 2 to 3 days. That extended shelf life is not a convenience, it is a chemical intervention. The emulsifiers, E472E and E471, damage the gut lining. Research demonstrates that these compounds disrupt the intestinal barrier and alter the composition of gut bacteria in ways that have lasting consequences for digestive and immune health. The texture is the most obvious sign of what this bread is. Cottony, compressible to almost nothing, unnaturally soft. That softness does not come from quality ingredients and careful baking. It comes from emulsifiers and high-speed industrial mixing designed to produce volume and shelf life rather than nourishment. The glycemic index is approximately 75, raising blood sugar almost as rapidly as pure glucose. At around £1 for 800 grams, it appears to be exceptional value. It is not. You are paying for an industrially engineered product that harms your gut, spikes your blood sugar, and stays soft on your counter for a fortnight because of preservatives. And the worst product in the entire store. Number 1. Sainsbury's Basics Instant Noodles. 14 ingredients, most of them synthetic additives. Real noodles require 3: flour, water, and salt. Wheat flour, palm oil, salt, flavor enhancers. E621, E635, sugar, soy sauce, powder, garlic powder, onion powder, yeast extract, colors. E150C and E160C, acidity regulator. E500, thickener. E412. The noodles are deep fried in palm oil during manufacturing to make them quick to prepare at home. You are eating fried noodles before you have even added hot water. The flavor enhancers include monosodium glutamate and related compounds classified as excitotoxins that overstimulate neurons. A neurologist was direct about this. These compounds overstimulate glutamate receptors. Some people experience immediate responses, including headaches. The effects of regular long-term consumption are a genuine concern. The salt content in the seasoning packet alone exceeds 4 grams. That is more than half the recommended daily limit delivered in a single small meal. The coloring, E150C, is produced using ammonia and generates a compound called 4-methylmidazole during its manufacture, a substance that has been linked to cancer in research studies. The nutritional value is effectively 0. Calories are present. Vitamins, minerals, fiber, and beneficial compounds are not. When these noodles were tested, the artificial intensity of the flavor was immediately apparent. Overwhelmingly salty, chemically sharp, greasy from the palm oil frying. At around 50 pence for 5 packets, the price is the only remarkable thing about them. Everything else is a warning. So here is what all of this tells you about how to shop. The rules are straightforward once you know them. Turn every product over and read the ingredient list before anything else. Products worth buying have short lists with ingredients you recognize. 5 or fewer is a sound target. If the list runs to 10, 12, or 14 items, most of them in unfamiliar chemical language, language. Put it back. Check sugar content in savory products specifically. Anything above 10 grams of sugar per 100 grams in something that is not a sweet food is excessive, and the product has been engineered to be addictive rather than nourishing. E numbers are a reliable warning sign. Real food does not require emulsifiers, artificial colors, preservatives, or flavor enhancers. Their presence tells you that the base ingredients were not good enough to stand on their own. Look for whole ingredients rather than processed derivatives, tomatoes rather than tomato concentrate, whole oats rather than oat powder, cream rather than buttermilk powder. The closer an ingredient is to its original form, the better. And look for minimal processing. Raw honey, whole oats, cold-pressed oil, and genuine sourdough are all products where the minimal intervention is precisely what makes them valuable. The best food in Sainsbury's is the food that has been interfered with the least. Sainsbury's is not a good or bad supermarket. It is both simultaneously on the same shelves. The choice of which version you take home is entirely yours, and now you have everything you need to make it.